In the world of Formula One, where every millisecond counts and the smallest details can make the difference between victory and defeat, a major shift has occurred. Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time world champion, has joined Ferrari for the 2025 season. Fred Vasseur's assessment of Lewis Hamilton goes beyond mere admiration for his impressive track record. It's rooted in a long-standing relationship that dates back to Hamilton's junior racing days. Vasseur said, "I perfectly remember Lewis 2005-6, that he was already like this, pushing on small details. At the end of the day, if you have a look, I think average, the delta between McLaren and us in qualification is a couple of hundredths." In this context, Hamilton's obsession with detail could be the key to unlocking those crucial hundredths of a second that separate the champions from the rest. But Hamilton brings more than just his eye for detail to Ferrari. With 18 years of experience in Formula One and 7 world championships under his belt, he represents a wealth of knowledge and expertise. Vasseur is confident that this experience will be invaluable to Ferrari. He states, "I'm convinced that Lewis will come with his own experience with the background of 18 years in F1, with a couple of titles." To understand why Hamilton's addition to Ferrari is so significant, we need to examine Ferrari's current position and goals. The Italian constructor has been in a period of transition. While they've shown flashes of brilliance, they haven't clinched a Constructors' Championship since 2008. However, the 2024 season showed promising signs. Ferrari finished second in the Constructors' Championship, just 14 points behind McLaren. The team's performance in 2024 was particularly encouraging. Vasseur said, "If you have a look at this season 2024, I think Charles scored the biggest number of points after Monza, or something like this, when we started to react and started to do a better job on our side. It means that everything is possible. It's just a matter to put everything together, to minimize the number of mistakes." This improvement in the latter part of the season suggests that Ferrari is on an upward trajectory, and Hamilton's arrival could be the catalyst to propel them to the top. Hamilton's value to Ferrari extends beyond his driving skills and attention to detail. Vasseur sees Hamilton's different perspective as a significant asset. He explains, "I think it's always important to have people coming from other teams with a different culture. This diversity of experience and viewpoint can be crucial in identifying areas for improvement that might be overlooked by those who have been with the team for a long time." Vasseur elaborates on this point. "It's not that performance is coming just from Aero or whatever. It's coming from everybody." This holistic approach to performance improvement aligns perfectly with Hamilton's reputation for pushing every aspect of his team and car to the limit. Moreover, Hamilton's experience of winning multiple championships with Mercedes could prove invaluable in Ferrari's quest to return to the top. Vasseur believes that Hamilton's mindset of continuous improvement will be crucial. He says, "It's just to keep this mindset to try to do a bit better everywhere, not to imagine that the performance is coming from the others into the team." While much of the focus has been on what Hamilton brings to Ferrari, it's also worth considering the team he's joining. Under Vasseur's leadership, Ferrari has been making steady progress. Charles Leclerc, Hamilton's future teammate, provides some insight into Vasseur's management style. Leclerc describes Vasseur as emotionally flat, which might seem like an odd compliment at first. However, in the high-pressure world of Formula One, where emotions can run extremely high, this quality is invaluable. Leclerc says, "Fred is very emotionally flat, and that helps a team like Ferrari so much because the team is all the opposite. Emotions run very high both ways, whether they are good or bad. This emotional stability translates into a methodical, analytical approach to racing." Leclerc reveals that just 20 minutes after a race, regardless of the outcome, Vasseur is ready for a detailed analysis of the team's performance. Leclerc says, "Fred is the kind of guy that manages straight away, even within a weekend where emotions can be super good or super bad, to take a step back. 20 minutes after a race, we all sit down together, and he's already on a very good analysis, putting emotions aside, and that's a huge quality to run Ferrari." Leclerc also highlights Vasseur's consistency, which he believes is crucial for leading a team like Ferrari. He said, "I feel like he's always had that in himself. He's always had the consistency. Whenever I go and see Fred, I know what to expect. It's not like there's any kind of difference in humor or whatever." Of course, integrating a new driver, especially one of Hamilton's caliber, into a team is no small task. Ferrari is leaving no stone unturned in their preparations for Hamilton's arrival. They've planned extensive test sessions, including runs at their Fiorano test track and additional tests at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. Hamilton is likely to have his first taste of Ferrari machinery at the team's Fiorano test track later this month. The team is yet to decide whether to use the 2022 car, the F175, or the 2023 chassis for his debut. Ferrari typically holds a 2-day wake-up test in Fiorano in January, allowing the team and drivers to get back up to speed before the actual preseason begins in February. According to reports, Ferrari has decided to add an extra January test to Hamilton's winter calendar. The team is planning a second session at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, home of the Spanish Grand Prix, at the end of the month. Ferrari is thought to have scheduled a 4-day window at the Barcelona circuit in late January, allowing the team critical flexibility to perform 2 essential days of on-track testing. However, these preparations are complicated by new FIA regulations on testing. On December 11th, the FIA published a new version of the sporting regulations with additional elements, including a provision governing testing of previous cars. Paragraph G of Article 10.2 establishes new limits. If an F1 World Championship driver conducts a TPC test, they will be subject to mileage and duration restraints. A maximum mileage in the calendar year of 1,000 kilometers has been introduced, which can be reached across 4 different test days. This makes every kilometer of testing crucial, and Ferrari will need to maximize this limited time to ensure Hamilton is fully prepared for the 2025 season. As Vasseur puts it,
for the first
No,
few
but
days.
we will have a couple of test days with TPC, Pirelli before Bahrain, but you know that it's a very short period, that at the end of the day you have the launch of the car will be the 19th of February. Mm-hmm. And then we are going directly to Bahrain for the first test and to Melbourne. It means that this will be in a rush. But I'm not worried at all that he's coming with the experience of this. He did almost 20 seasons in F1, and he will manage perfectly this period.
As we look ahead to the 2025 season, expectations are high. The potential for a title fight between Hamilton and Leclerc is tantalizing for fans. Vasseur believes both drivers have the ability to compete for the championship, setting the stage for what could be a thrilling intra-team battle. Vasseur acknowledges that the long F1 season, with 24 events, can have its ups and downs. However, he remains optimistic. What is positive for us is that we had a tough journey around June, July, and as a team, we were able to react quickly, and this is encouraging. Vasseur also acknowledges that Ferrari presents a unique challenge.
In terms of atmosphere around the team, pressure, it's not the right word, but the passion of the tifosi, the passion of the press, and so it's completely different. Mm-hmm. But the target is the same. It means that the approach of the business is the same, that you have to try to do the best with the car, with the engineers, and we have to keep this focus, not to be too much focused on the outside.
Do you think you can win the title with him and Charles next year?
Yeah.
Perfect way to end the interview, Fred.
No, but it's the next step that we did P3, P2. We are going on this direction. I think we are.
Ferrari's ambitions for the 2025 season and beyond are clear. When asked if he thinks Ferrari can win the championship and bring the constructors' crown home to Maranello for the first time since 2008, Vasseur's response is unequivocal.
Do you think you can win the title with him and Charles next year?
Yeah.
Perfect way to end the interview, Fred.
No, but it's the next step that we did P3, P2. We are going on this direction. I think we are doing good step on the team side, on the car side, and so that everything is going on this direction.
However, Vasseur is under no illusions about the challenge ahead.
Doing good step on the team side, on the car side, and so that everything is going on this direction. Now I'm really convinced that it won't be an easy one, that McLaren is doing also a mega job, that I'm sure that Red Bull and Mercedes will push to come back, and it will be a good fight on track next year with at least 4 teams. It won't be easy, but I think we are putting everything together to be able to do it.
Lewis Hamilton has officially become a Ferrari driver. This monumental shift marks the end of an era and the beginning of an exciting new chapter in the career of one of the sport's greatest drivers. But how did this shocking move come about? And what led Hamilton to make what he describes as the hardest decision of his career? The seeds of this dramatic change were planted in February 2024, when Hamilton announced he would be leaving Mercedes at the end of the 2024 season. This news came as a surprise to many, especially considering Hamilton had signed a 2-year deal with Mercedes just months earlier in the summer of 2023. To make the move possible, Hamilton triggered a break clause in his contract, as reported by Racing News 365. In an interview with F1.com, Hamilton shed light on his decision-making process. "An opportunity came up in the new year, and I decided to take it," he explained. But this wasn't a choice made lightly. Hamilton emphasized the difficulty of leaving Mercedes, a team that had supported him for 26 years, dating back to his early racing days. Hamilton said, "We've created history within the sport, and it's something I take a lot of pride in." This long-standing relationship made his decision to leave all the more significant. But the allure of Ferrari, with its rich history and iconic status in Formula One, proved irresistible. Hamilton drew a connection to his childhood hero, Michael Schumacher, explaining the dream that many drivers share. He said, "You see the driver in the red cockpit, and you wonder what it would be like to be surrounded by the red." On Thursday, Lewis Hamilton took to LinkedIn to share his first public statement as a Ferrari driver. Hamilton wrote, "I could not be more excited for the year ahead. Moving to Scuderia Ferrari, there's a lot to reflect on. To anyone considering their next move in 2025, embrace the change. Whether you're switching industries, learning a new skill, or even just taking on new challenges, remember that reinvention is powerful." Hamilton's call for reinvention isn't just about his own career, it's a message that resonates with people in all walks of life. By encouraging others to embrace the change and reminding them that your next opportunity is always within reach. While Hamilton's LinkedIn post was certainly impactful, his social media updates on other platforms have added another layer of intrigue to this story. On Instagram, Hamilton changed his profile picture to a childhood photo of himself wearing a red helmet while karting. For those unfamiliar with the history, the color red has been synonymous with Ferrari for decades. By choosing this particular image, Hamilton is not only acknowledging his new team, but also hinting at a long-held dream coming to fruition. Interestingly, the use of a childhood photo suggests that joining Ferrari may have been an aspiration Hamilton has held since his earliest days in racing. But what does this mean for Hamilton's relationship with his previous team, Mercedes? And how will this affect his legacy in the sport? To fully appreciate the magnitude of Hamilton's move to Ferrari, we need to understand what he's leaving behind. His 12-year partnership with Mercedes has been one of the most successful driver-team combinations in the history of Formula One. During his time with the Silver Arrows, Hamilton secured 6 of his 7 world championships, dominating the sport for much of the past decade. One of the most important aspects of Hamilton's move to Ferrari is his new partnership with Charles Leclerc. The young Monegasque driver has already established himself as one of the most talented drivers of his generation, and now he'll be teaming up with one of the greatest of all time. Leclerc himself has expressed excitement about the prospect of working with Hamilton. He stated, "When a champion like Lewis gets to any team, it brings a lot of motivation out of every single person. He will come along with all the experience that he's had over the years with Mercedes. A different way of working, a different vision, and this is always benefiting a team." Now that Hamilton's move to Ferrari is official, attention turns to his preparations for the 2025 season. While the first race is still months away, there's a lot of work to be done before Hamilton can make his debut in the famous red car. One of the first steps in this process will likely be a private test with Ferrari. Under the testing of previous cars' regulations, teams are allowed to use cars from the previous 3 seasons for testing purposes. This means Hamilton could potentially get his first taste of a Ferrari F1 car in the coming weeks, albeit not the 2025 model he'll be racing next season. Following this, Hamilton's first public appearance as a Ferrari driver is expected to come at the F175 Live season launch event in London on February 18th. This event, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Formula One World Championship, will see all 10 teams present their drivers and liveries for the upcoming season. Just one day later, on February 19th, Ferrari plans to unveil its 2025 car at its headquarters in Maranello. This will be a pivotal moment for Hamilton and the team, as it will be the first time they present themselves as a unit to the world. The final step in Hamilton's preparation will be pre-season testing in Bahrain from February 26th to 28th. During these 3 days, Hamilton will have his first opportunity to drive the 2025 Ferrari in anger, sharing the car with his new teammate Charles Leclerc. It's worth noting that Hamilton will have just 1.5 days in the new car before the first race of the season. This limited testing time presents a significant challenge, even for a driver of Hamilton's caliber. As Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur said, "If you imagine that you go to Bahrain and you have the sandstorm as we had a couple of years ago, it's tough, but it's tough for everybody on the grid. We know that we have only 3 days there. It is like it is." As Hamilton starts this new chapter with Ferrari, it's worth reflecting on his incredible career achievements to date. With 7 world championships, he's currently tied with Michael Schumacher for the most titles in Formula One history. He also holds the records for most race wins, 103 and 104 pole positions. However, Hamilton's recent seasons with Mercedes have been challenging. After narrowly missing out on the 2021 World Championship in controversial circumstances, Hamilton and Mercedes struggled to adapt to the new regulations introduced in 2022. The team's W13 car suffered from severe porpoising issues. Despite these challenges, Hamilton has shown flashes of his old brilliance. In 2024, he managed to secure wins at the British Grand Prix and in Belgium, demonstrating that he still possesses the speed and skill to compete at the highest level. Now, with his move to Ferrari, Hamilton has the opportunity to rejuvenate his career. The question on everyone's mind is, can Hamilton secure a record-breaking 8th world title with Ferrari? This prospect is undoubtedly exciting for both Hamilton and Ferrari fans. The Italian team hasn't won a driver's championship since 2007 with Kimi Raikkonen, and bringing in a driver of Hamilton's caliber demonstrates their commitment to returning to the top of the sport. As the world's Formula One fans set their keen eyes on Hamilton as he prepares for his 19th season at the wheel, Hamilton leaves his supporters with a rallying message. Here's to 2025, a year of embracing new opportunities, staying hungry, and driving forward with purpose. Let's make it one to remember. Andiamo. From Ferrari's perspective, signing Hamilton is a clear statement of intent. The team is investing heavily in its future, with team principal Fred Vasseur revealing that only 1% of the parts from last year's car will carry over to the 2025 model. Vasseur has also been quick to defend Hamilton against any doubts about his speed or motivation. Referring to Hamilton's performance in the 2024 Las Vegas Grand Prix, Vasseur said, "Have a look at the 50 laps that he did in Vegas, starting P10, finishing on the gearbox of George Russell in a Mercedes 1-2, I'm not worried at all." This vote of confidence from Vasseur, combined with Ferrari's commitment to developing a competitive car, sets the stage for what could be a thrilling 2025 season.